If Socrates were alive today, you wouldn't find him scrolling through Instagram, subtweeting on Twitter, or chasing likes on TikTok. In fact, if the ancient Greek philosopher were handed a smartphone, he might see modern social media as one of the most dangerous threats to truth, critical thinking, and the soul itself. Socrates never wrote a single word down. He believed knowledge was best pursued through live conversation, question, and reflection. Drop that man into today's endless feed of memes, outrage, and filtered perfection, and he'd likely dismantle the entire system before lunch. The Socratic method versus the social media method. Socrates' signature approach, the Socratic method, relied on asking probing questions to expose contradictions, clarify definitions, and push people toward self-examination. He cared less about winning arguments and more about uncovering truth. Social media, however, rewards the opposite. The algorithm pushes certainty over curiosity, viral soundbites over thoughtful nuance. Instead of slowing down to examine what we think and why we think it, platforms encourage instant reactions. You don't get extra likes for admitting you might be wrong, you get them for delivering the perfect clapback. Socrates would see this as a fatal flaw, a society addicted to the appearance of wisdom rather than the hard work of actually seeking it. The problem of seeming to know, one of Socrates' most famous lines is, "I know that I know nothing." For him, the worst kind of ignorance wasn't simply not knowing, it was thinking you know when you actually don't. And nowhere is this more rampant than in the age of social media. Endless threads, comment wars, and viral posts give the illusion of expertise. A few Google searches, and suddenly everyone is an armchair epidemiologist, economist, or geopolitical analyst. Socrates would argue that this fast knowledge breeds overconfidence and undermines true understanding. His first step in destroying social media wouldn't be by deleting apps but by interrogating every user. He'd stop you mid-rant. What do you mean by that term? How do you know it's true? What evidence would make you change your mind? The average user wouldn't survive 5 minutes of this without realizing how much they've been parroting headlines without reflection. Echo chambers. The death of dialogue in Athens. Socrates roamed the agora, the public square, talking to anyone, from politicians to artisans. His conversations were unpredictable and diverse. Today's public square is digital, but it's fractured into echo chambers where you mainly hear from people who already agree with you. Social media algorithms prioritize engagement, which often means showing you posts that reinforce your worldview and inflame your emotions. The result? Confirmation bias on steroids. Socrates would despise this. He believed wisdom grows from engaging with opposing viewpoints, even if uncomfortable. He'd warn that surrounding yourself only with agreeable voices isn't comfort, it's intellectual decay. His remedy? Smash the algorithmic walls. Talk to strangers who think differently. Ask questions without trying to score points. Debate without trying to cancel your opponent. The tyranny of applause in ancient Athens, Socrates was suspicious of crowds. He thought public opinion could easily corrupt the truth because people often chase what is popular, not what is right. Modern social media has taken this problem and industrialized it. Likes, retweets, and shares function as a constant applause meter, conditioning users to post not what they believe, but what will be rewarded. Socrates would call this moral cowardice. He'd argue that when truth becomes secondary to popularity, you're no longer thinking, you're performing. And just like in ancient Athens, those who challenge the mob risk being metaphorically executed through public shaming. He knew that well. His own trial was essentially the result of Athens turning against him for asking too many inconvenient questions. Vanity and the cult of the self. Another thing Socrates might notice? The obsessive self-promotion. He was famously uninterested in wealth, status, or appearance. He wore the same simple cloak and wandered barefoot. He'd see the Instagram influencer lifestyle, with its endless posing and brand deals, as a sign of a culture obsessed with seeming rather than being. For Socrates, the most important project in life was not curating your public image but cultivating your soul, examining whether you are just, honest, and wise. In his eyes, modern platforms turn life into a stage where people perform virtues rather than practice them. He might say, "You have spent all this effort making your profile beautiful, but what of your mind? How Socrates would actually destroy social media. If you think Socrates would rage quit the internet or smash servers, think again." His weapon was dialogue, not destruction. He'd log in, start asking uncomfortable questions, and force the platforms to confront their own contradictions. He'd challenge tech executives. Is your platform designed for truth or for profit? If misinformation drives engagement, will you stop it? If your algorithms divide people, do you bear responsibility? He'd challenge users. Why do you post what you post? Do you seek understanding or just victory? How do you know what you know? In other words, he'd destroy not the technology, but the lazy thinking it enables. The takeaway for us: Socrates' battle with social media wouldn't be about nostalgia for a simpler time. It would be about restoring the lost art of genuine inquiry in a culture that confuses speed with depth, visibility with wisdom, and popularity with truth. We can't all walk barefoot in the agora, but we can adopt his principles. Ask questions before making statements. Seek out opposing perspectives instead of avoiding them. Value being wrong if it leads you closer to the truth. Focus more on the state of your mind than your follower count. In a world where the loudest voices drown out the wisest, Socrates' quiet, persistent questioning might be exactly the disruption we need. And if he were here now? He might tell us what he told Athens 2,400 years ago. The unexamined life is not worth living. Today, he'd probably add, and the unexamined tweet is not worth posting.